Hey everybody, welcome back to Bravely Default. Today, we're going to be reading all the story important updates to Dee's journal from the prologue. So, the people, locations, and terms mainly. There's also items, bestiary, all that stuff, but mainly we're going to be reading stuff that actually impacts the story. This will be a quick catch-up for everything, quick reminder for all the character updates, location updates, everything that's happened, and all that we've learned. So, let's get started with the Ring a Bell. Though my memory is gone, this name seems engraved upon my mind somehow. A tattered journal is my sole remaining possession. Who am I? A man of unknown age, currently experiencing amnesia. Clearly a man of high morals, taciturn and reflective. I believe I am a gentleman well liked by all. Likes spicy things, juicy things. Dislikes sweet things. Who am I? I've been asking around town the past few days, but I am met by blank stares or laughter. Women simply turn tail with furrowed brow. Why am I here? At night I visit this cottage. I feel a sense of nostalgia here. I wonder about that gaunt man and the girl glaring at him with daggers in her eyes. Agnes is the wind Vestal. I never heard that from anyone. I seem to have known it for a long time. I've seen her around town in the company of Tiz the past few days. According to this journal, they are about to set off on an epic journey to close the Great Chasm. Once they reach the Black Mage's keep, they are sure to run into that girl. I must see her. After going to the ruins of Central Keep in pursuit of the Black Mage Ominous Crow, who set the town on fire, a quarrel ensued. The girl Adia finally lost her temper with the gaunt man, who casts his magic on foe and ally alike. She asked us to help her dispatch him, and we agreed, as that had been our goal all along. Thus, our journey together began. After defeating the Knight Henkel, the airship suddenly lurched downward. There was no one to take the helm. Then I remembered the journal. I asked Adia the name of the airship, but as I spoke, I already knew the answer. The Echelot. The ship and I have a history. I grabbed the wheel and brought it under control. Tiz Orier, the Miracle. A young man and sole survivor of the Great Chasm. After waking, he had a fateful encounter with the wind Vestal Agnes. A 19-year-old boy from Nerende, a simple and honest soul. He acts as a mediator between friends, and often ends up with a lot on his plate, for which I am partly responsible. Likes hot home cooking, seafood, dislikes gaudy bubbles, crowds. Hearing that the attorney and Skyknights planned to attack the town unless they handed over the Vestal, Agnes secretly decided to give herself up to save the people. Tiz sensed Agnes was... Hearing that the attorney and Skyknights planned to attack the town unless they handed over the Vestal, Agnes secretly decided to give herself up to save the people. Tiz sensed Agnes's resolve and offered to accompany her as a guide. He managed to keep her safe and defeated the monk and white mage. Asked to accompany the Wind Vestal to the ruins of Central Keep to the north of town, where they intended to confront the Black Mage Ominous Crow. When I revealed that their names and purpose were written in my journal and told them I wished to meet the girl there, the Vestal grew suspicious. She would have left me behind if Tiz had not intervened. We clashed with the Black Mage Ominous Crow deep within the ruins of Central Keep. Shocked that Ominous would use his magic indiscriminately, Adia declared she would side with us against him, despite us being the enemy. This flustered Tiz, but I welcomed her aboard, and together we trounced that fiend Ominous. Agnes Oblige, the Wind Vestal. Of the Oblige line, she met Aerie on a hill above the chasm. She encountered Tiz as foretold after he miraculously escaped death. A 20-year-old girl from Ansheim. As a Vestal, she has devoted her life to the crystals. She escaped the Temple of Wind after it was overrun by dark forces, and came to investigate the Great Chasm. She has absolutely no sense of direction. Likes sweet treats. Dislikes meat, crowds, and being lost. I asked to accompany Agnes, who was heading to the ruins of Central Keep to take on Arsonist and Black Mage Ominous Crow. She grew wary when I spoke of knowing her mission to close the chasm. Her suspicion only increased when I said I wished to meet the girl serving under the Black Mage. She glared at me as if I had just confessed to some heinous crime. At Central Keep, Adia turned on the Black Mage Ominous and joined us, and thus our journey began. Agnes was still wary and suspected me of having some ulterior motive. I showed her the writings of my journal to ease her fears, but she only grew more suspicious. This Vestal is a tough woman to convince. After a deadly battle, we managed to defeat the Knight Henkel, but then the airship began to plummet. Just then I remembered seeing the airship's name, the Echelot, in my journal. I found myself familiar with her controls. Taking the helm, I plotted a course for Ansheim, the land of sand and time, and site of the Temple of Wind that Agnes calls home. Adia Lee. A beautiful girl who served under the Black Mage when Caldessa was set alight. Unable to forgive the Duchy's brutality, she switched allegiance to the Vestal. An 18-year-old girl hailing from Eternia. On first impression, she appears to be a spoiled princess type. However, while strong-willed and opinionated, she is also kind and filled with a sense of justice. She never shies away from a conflict. Really likes sweet things, dislikes cooking, hassle, and insects. I accompanied the wind vessel Agnes to the ruins of Central Keep. There we encountered Adia, whose rage at the cowardly methods of the black mage Ominous Crow caused her to revolt against him. She told us she would join our cause, and together we defeated the dastardly black mage. Eri, a tiny crystal fairy who came to guide the Vestal in the crystal's hour of need. She said a miracle would appear before Agnes at the chasm. A female of unknown age. This self-proclaimed crystal fairy seems to know much about the crystals and the path the Vestal should take. With regard to anything else, however, she tends to act like a precocious, fussy crybaby. Likes crystals and Agnes, dislikes children and ring a bell. Captain Owen, a brave young man who serves as captain of the guard in Caldisla. He nursed Tiz after the Great Chasm struck. He is the son of Carl the Innkeep. A 24-year-old man from Caldisla, the only son of Carl the Innkeep. As a boy, he longed to become a royal guard out of love for his country. He performed many great services, demonstrating his unmatched valor, and now he is captain of the royal guard. He performed many great services, demonstrating his unmatched valor, and he is now captain of the guard. Likes peace and roasted boar. Dislikes ghosts. As we battled the black mage Ominous Crow at the ruins of Central Keep, the leader of the Eternian Skyknights attacked the palace of Caldisla. The king was kidnapped by the knight Argent Hankel. As Tiz arrived, our Captain Owen entrusted him with protecting the king and the future of Caldisla, before breathing his last. Carl the Innkeep, the owner of the inn in Caldisla. He has a gentle and sincere personality, and is well liked by the townspeople. His son is Owen, captain of the guard. The palace was attacked by Argent Hankel, leader of the Eternian Skyknights. He slew Owen and carried the king off to Lontano Vale in his airship. The innkeep was left despondent at the death of his son. The King of Caldisla, the elderly king who governs Caldisla. 30 years into his rule, he continues the ways of his line, and desires only peace for his people. In recent years, the Eternian Skyknights have raided Caldisla and taken hostages. Now, with Narende swallowed up by the Great Chasm, he feels more helpless than ever. He promised to do all he could to help rebuild the village and put Tiz, its sole survivor, in charge of the reconstruction. The night Hankel attacked the palace, struck down Owen, and kidnapped the king. Thanks to our quick action, the king was rescued safe and sound. He showed his gratitude by bestowing upon us the airship that we captured from the Skyknights to help us aid Agnes in her mission. Barris the Monk, Skyknights, an airship pilot who perished at the Southwest Lake after attacking Agnes from his airship. He traveled with the white mage, Holly White. A 24-year-old man of unknown origin. His name is Barris Lair, and he carries the monk asterisk. A typical brawler, he is rude and violent. He hates it when people call him Bear Wrestler. Likes fighting, drinking, and meat. Dislikes strategy, thinking, and cowardice. Polly the White Mage, Skyknights. The white mage who attacked Tiz with the monk Barris. She was later defeated at the Southwest Lake. Unstable and sadistic. A 26-year-old woman from Eternia. Her name is Holly White. She is keeper of the White Mage Asterisk. Though a healer of great skill, she is sadistic to the core. Hedonistic and capricious, she has a wanton personality. Likes glamour, tough guys, and wine. Dislikes pessimists, rats, and innocents. Ominous the Black Mage, Skyknight. The Black Mage who set Caldisla alight. I was watching the night sky over the harbor at the time, barely escaping a fiery end. A 32-year-old man from Eternia, going by the name Ominous Crow, he carries the Black Mage Asterisk. Though serving as lieutenant commander of the Skyknights, he is deeply unpopular, and often alone due to his antisocial attitude. Likes obedient underlings and fire, dislikes strong women and forceful types. At the ruins of Central Keep, the Black Mage Ominous Crow and Adia began arguing. It seemed this was the last straw for Adia, and she entreated us to fight him at her side. We took down the Black Mage together, and Adia joined our motley crew. Ankle the Knight, Skyknight Captain. He attacked the palace to force the hand over the Wind Vestal. After slaying Owen, he kidnapped the king and left. A 42-year-old man from Heartschild, named Argent Hankel, he is holder of the Knight Asterisk, and head of the Eternian Skyknights. A commander who is both ferocious and meticulous with detail. He excels at blitz attacks. Likes chivalry, bravery, and liquor. Dislikes etiquette and celery. We headed to the stronghold of the Eternian Skyknights at Lontano Vale to rescue the kidnapped king. Henkel had his underlings keep us busy while he retreated to his docked airship with the king. Why would one with the prowess of Best Owen flee from a fight? As soon as we boarded the airship, it took off. It seems Henkel planned to lure us aboard and capture us before returning to the duchy. He chose this location thinking that even if we prevailed, the airship would crash and kill Agnes. After a tough fight, we emerged victorious. The king was safe and the airship Echelot was ours. Caldus region. The continent of Caldus and its surrounding waters are on the northern edge of the Sea of Corsairs in Luxembourg's northern hemisphere. Surrounded by the North Caldus Sea, Ederson Sea, and the Sea of Corsairs, this small continent is almost completely covered in mountainous region known as the Narende Heights. But on the east coast there is a narrow flatland area with a thriving city. Blessed with a mild climate and warm ocean currents, this land has 4 beautiful seasons and bountiful fishing and forestry. Kingdom of Caldus. The kingdom's capital is located on the south part of the continent where the Caldus River empties into the Sea of Corsairs. It has long been blessed with many thriving fishing ports, and in recent years, it has become an important stop on booming sea trade routes. Town of Caldus. The town that has grown around the royal castle over the years has joined with the thriving port town. Together they form the capital of the Kingdom of Caldus. Caldus Palace. The palace was once a strong hilltop fortress until a Caldusan king unified the kingdom 9 generations ago. Through a peaceful medieval period in which the kingdom was protected by the sea in all directions, most of it evolved into a bustling merchant town, leaving only a palace and a small barracks where the fortress once stood. Inn. Located in the town of Caldus at the bottom of a major street, this inn is a favorite of traveling merchants for its fair prices and its courteous service. The royal family even recognized it as a blue tile, a designation given only to the finest establishments in town. The seasonal seafood cuisine prepared by the inn's proprietor is superb. The Narende Village. This small settlement is situated on the Narende Heights that stretch across the continent of Caldisla. Its people are primarily involved in forestry as well as animal husbandry that makes use of the expansive mountaintop plains across the region. The narrow byway that runs alongside Narende Ravine at the upper reaches of the Caldus River is little used, even by the locals, for it is dim and dangerous even by day. Great Chasm. This gaping void opened up in the Narende region, swallowing Tiz's entire village during a massive earthquake that shook all of Caldesla. Canyon Road. A narrow byway created long ago along Narende Ravine at the upper reaches of the Caldus River. It is the sole route to the site of Narende Village, now that the main road to the north has been cut off by the Great Chasm. Ruins of Central Keep. These ruins, located along the main road stretching north from the Caldusan Castle, were once considered a vital strategic point between the northern and southern regions. They were abandoned after being rendered obsolete by the unification of the kingdom. Eternia's Forward Encampment. Mere months after the Knights of the Eternian Sky landed in northern Caldisla, ground forces led by the Black Mage Ominous Crow occupied Central Keep, using it as a forward encampment from which to strike the town of Caldisla. With the bridge over the Caldisla River taken out in the Eternian attack, little has been done to repel the invasion. Black Mage Keep. Black Mage Ominous Crow, the fiend who set fires in the town of Caldisla, has transformed the ruins of Central Keep into an Eternian encampment. Montano Villa. Situated on the northern end of the continent of Caldus and famous for its scenic views, this villa is used for receiving foreign dignitaries and escaping the summer heat. It was once a stronghold of the forces opposing the Caldusan royal family, and many fierce battles were waged around Central Keep along the main road. Eternian Encampment. The first site occupied by the Sky Knights. What started as an airship dock has grown to a sprawling camp for the invasion of Caldisla. Lake to the southwest. A lake to the southwest of the Caldusan castle that no one has bothered to name. Sky Knight airships use it when coming to bombard the town. Harina region. This hot desert region, which includes Antagonists and the Temple of Wind, lies in the waters southeast of Caldisla in Luxembourg's southern hemisphere. The seas, sands, and winds of Harina. The burning sun beats down on the expansive sands in the day, but temperatures plunge at night. Only the constant winds from the south and the waters of the Fulchheim Inner Sea have allowed civilization to survive in this harsh environment. In recent years, these winds have fueled Anshheim's industrialization. Crystals, Entry 1. These huge crystals have been venerated by humankind since ancient times. They are worshipped as sacred entities that bring peace and blessings to Luxembourg. There are 4 crystals in all: fire, water, wind, and earth, each of which continues to grow through the accumulation of energy bestowed by the Vestal's prayers. For each of the natural forces they represent, they bring about balance and vitality, and enable all life on Luxembourg to live in peace. The moment the Great Chasm appeared in the Narende region of Caldisla, the wind crystal was shrouded in darkness and the wind ceased to blow. The other crystals also lost their power, causing the seas to turn putrid, volcanoes to erupt with unrelenting fury, and the earth to quake and change its very shape. The Crystal Orthodoxy. The Orthodoxy was born of the desire to reform crystalism, the worship of Luxembourg's 4 crystals. It was 2,400 years ago that crystal temples across the world, along with their vessels and acolytes, were brought under the Orthodoxy's central control, creating a world religion that would change the course of history. Crystalist Teachings. Dauntless Seeker, offer your prayers unto the crystals. So too shall the Vestal, in accordance with the teachings. Their resplendent light shall cleave a path through darkest night, and banish fear from every shadow. The orthodoxy's decline. There was once a dominant world religion wielding power surpassing that of even the greatest kings. Over time, the crystal orthodoxy became ever less relevant in the face of cultural and scientific advances, and with the establishment of the Duchy of Eternia 15 years ago under the banner of anti-crystalism, the orthodoxy became even more irrelevant, and indeed, even forgotten among the people of most lands, save the few still friendly to the religion. Vestals, Entry 1. Those who bear the name Oblige serve the crystals, offering prayers and recounting their blessings to the faithful. Said to be brides to the crystals, they dedicate their lives to them. The orthodoxy seeks out candidates at a young age, and those seen as having the requisite qualities are brought to the temple to be raised as Vestalings. Entry 2. The current Vestals initially entered their respective temples as Vestalings. Upon the death of a Vestal, a new Vestal is selected from among them. Each temple also has dozens of acolytes who care for the daily needs of the Vestal and together offer their prayers to the crystals. Duchy of Eternia. Founded 15 years ago on the continent of Eternia, west of Caldissa, this new land has placed the crystal there under secular rather than religious control. Under the banner of anti-crystalism, the duchy has used its advanced science and military might in many ways to pressure the lands that still espouse crystalism. Anti-crystalism. Advocated by the Duchy of Eternia, this philosophy holds that humankind should actively utilize the crystals, rather than relegating them to useless objects of worship, or treating them as religious and doctrinal crutches upon which society is dependent. It brands the crystal orthodoxy as a heretic faith, and the Vestals its minions. Some adherents even suspect the Great Chasm was the Vestals' doing. Asterisks. Semi-precious stones obtained after defeating the monk Bear Slayer and White Mage Holly White. Possessing a particular stone will confer the stone's job on that bearer. Sky stones. This special kind of stone, first discovered under the Orthodoxy's head temple some 700 years ago, is so named for its unique ability to make objects float in the air when it is placed in a mystic enclosure and heated to a certain temperature. History of airships. The first airships were lifted into the air by creating a mystic enclosure within the vessel, and then fueling a fire therein. Propulsion was by means of wind power, the same as their more primitive seafaring brethren, but the invention of the internal combustion engine allowed for faster, steadier cruising speeds. Later, airships came to fly even higher when new technology enabled increased temperatures to be applied to the skystone. Airship design. Airships are designed to enable dockage in an airborne state or by floating in suitably expansive waters, such as the sea or a large lake. Since they are built much like traditional seafaring vessels, they can navigate ocean waters even without a skystone. Types of airships. The Duchy of Eternia currently maintains a monopoly on all airships and the skystones required to power them. The existence of as many as 10 has been confirmed, including one for each member of the Council of Six, and the Echelot, the airship of the 1st Division's captain, newly built in Ansheim. Mysterious Journal. This unusual tome, part of which you are reading now, was the only item in my possession when I was first found barefoot of any memory. I call it D's Journal, for the large D on the cover, and it contains many prophecy-like writings.